Hey Jer, saw your video on quantum mechanics and the idea of a subject as a one reality. I guess I already made a comment, but I guess I wanted to respond in video form. Um, yeah, and I guess my point is if there's only the subject, then how is there this consistency to reality? Why aren't I able to just imagine reality to be whatever I want it to be? Um, and so I'm saying there has to be something else, something out there in order that appears for me in in relation to location. There's some sort of location, and I'm not an objectivist. I don't believe that reality is necessarily there for me independent of any observer. But I guess my point is that reality is there for the observer. It's there for other observers. And so there's a consistency to what Cashback calls the waking dream, and it has consequences. Those consequences are greater than the dreaming dream. The dream that I have in yeah when I'm asleep. And so there and so if and so I mean, you could say that this so-called waking dream is illusory, and I agree. There is a sense in which it's illusory. It's illusory because we think we're separate from the objects we see. Um, you know, yeah, and it's a and so idealism says that only the subject is real. Sort of materialism says that only object is real. What I'm saying is that the subject-object relationship is the one real thing. There's that reality is fundamentally relational, um, and yeah, like I said, matter is what makes itself available for the subject, um, and so I mean, Cash likes to talk about the there has to be this consciousness that collapses the way it functions in my brain in order for it to be there. Um, but my point is, if you take a pan-experientialist stance, where the atoms themselves or the particles themselves are themselves able to prehend other things, um, then we arrive at this consistent reality uh, where they're able to collapse each other's wave functions and create this sort of consistent reality. Um, and so there's no need to posit this sort of separate substance we call consciousness, because the consciousness, as far as I can tell, is not a substance. It's not even a property. It's an action. Consciousness, or more properly, it's an interaction. Consciousness is a relational action. It's a relation that is constantly in process, uh, wherein the subject of one moment becomes the object of the subject of the next moment. Yeah, and so here I'm getting heavily into Whitehead, as I have a habit of doing. Um, but yeah, the point is that um, the subject is what exists in the present, and it pretends an object which is in its immediate past, and then becomes the object of the subject in the next moment, and then which then pretends these eternal objects, as Whitehead put it, these archetypes, toward which act as aspirations or goals or ideals to strive for, and that's how his creativity manifests in the universe. So, I mean, I'm not a scientific materialist. I'm not a reductionist. I believe that the fundamental components of nature are relations. So in that sense, I'm a holist. yeah, I think that um, the nature is holistic and can't be reduced to any substance. And in fact, I think substance, in a sense, is the real illusion. The idea that there's any substance, whether that substance is consciousness or matter, um, that substance is the illusion. When Vedanta says that the world is illusory, the illusion is the illusion of substance, of things that are eternal, that exist through time within the world. And I've made a point about the sky, which Kashfi, I don't, for some reason, seems to deny that the the molecules in the sky are there when we're not looking. But even if we take immediate experience to be the case, then the sky is still in flux because we see it change from the day sky to the night sky, where it goes from blue to black, and so everything is in flux. But everything is always in relation between subject and object, between subject and subject. I guess I don't want to take out the intersubjective point of view either. Um, and I guess if there's a reason why kind of Cashify's views kind of push my buttons, it's because it's the kind of view that I once had as well. And in a sense, it was kind of Whitehead and Varela in embodied philosophy, and Ken Wilber and the integral theory, which kind of salvaged matter for me. I was able to sort of relate to matter as something that is teeming with life and that is imbued with spirit itself. Um, and yeah, I've learned to kind of take this sort of non-dual approach towards mind and matter, and come out the other side. So I guess I'll leave it there. I'm kind of hoping to get away from this subject because I think I've sort of said my piece on this subject of the sort of subject of the relationship for now. Thank you for the reply. Thanks for listening. Peace.